All right, should we get into some segments? Some segments?
Okay. Let's get it.
We love the internet.
All the sound
Big
effects.
fans of the internet here at the UKNO podcast. Some would even say that the internet is a friend of the program. And
I'm actually going to get some coffee real quick. Yeah, introduce.
We're going to head straight into the internet featuring. So today, my internet featuring comes courtesy of Christina's Court, a short-lived, I'm not sure how long it was on the air for, but it was a People's Court, Judge Joe Brown type shit. And back like 15 years ago, something like that, 10, 15 years ago, there was an episode, and I'm going to have Mike splice in maybe the audio from this clip.
I got to get better at doing that. I feel like on the last ones, we say that we're going to do that, and then
we're going to splice it in on this one, because this audio is okay. But in case we can't, I'll give a short analysis. They're doing like a divorce court, I think, of some sort, and the woman who is the one party in the trial, I can't think of the legal terms, but she's saying, we just fight, that's what people in love do. That's what married people do. The plaintiff. And Judge Christina goes, you're right. Bailiff, that's right? How long have you been married? 27 years. And the other plaintiff in the court case, the male, the defendant looks over at him and goes, then why you look so angry? Brother, you ain't happy? And the whole courtroom just starts laughing. The judge starts laughing.
Yeah. Because that was funny. That shit was funny. Even
funny,
the bailiff
right?
was laughing. Yeah.
The bailiff's laughing, right? The bailiff ain't laughing now because the bailiff was just arrested for killing his wife.
Oh, come on, man.
Whoa. Yeah, I know we saw that one yesterday or something. That's crazy.
Not a good featuring the internet per se. A very ironic and a funny internet video. But yeah, it's, this man is, I think the Barstool caption for it was, this is Nostradamus in the flesh. This man saw this coming.
Yeah, for real. And that's crazy. Bro is the bailiff guy is easily 280 pound, 6'4" looking dude. Yeah. He definitely killed his wife and he's definitely going to jail forever. So, whoa, shout out the defendant guy who called the fuck out of that. And I hope
just get a divorce,
he got out of his shitty marriage, whatever it was.
Get a divorce.
You know what I mean?
You ain't got to kill nobody. Come on now.
That's how I feel. Unless you got that really nice insurance policy, then maybe, you know what I mean? Get a hitman or something. You know what I mean? Don't do it yourself. Don't get a hitman yourself. You got to talk about getting a hitman with somebody in a Faraday cage area where there's no phones, no nothing, and then that person has to go out and get the hitman for you. You know what I mean? There can be absolutely no paper trail. But besides that,
or you just go on a cruise and somebody falls off the balcony.
They slipped. It's over. No, that's crazy. Shout out that guy. That's a funny clip too.
Very funny clip.
Yeah, that's what we should do, man. We should just do a Criminal Minds podcast instead, where we just talk about that show.
We could.
So I unfortunately also don't really have something very happy, and it's not funny either. That one was funny. This one's not funny. This is about the CTA. So the Jefferson Park Chamber of Commerce got a CTA terminal update. So the Jefferson Park terminal is basically where O'Hare is at. If for people that aren't familiar with Chicago, O'Hare is the airport, and there's always been a train that goes to the airport, straight to downtown, and then actually back out to Oak Park. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Shout out. But now, and apparently they are making some big changes to that CTA. So the warming shelters that have actually not even been open since March, which is the summer, doesn't matter, will reopen after Halloween, but could close again in the spring due to people living in the shelters. Attacks on CTA workers are at the Jefferson Park stop are up 300%. It doesn't say in what time period.
Ridiculous, dude.
It doesn't say in what time period, but in the same time, you may expect that if you have, 2-3 years of pandemic, and then now it's all back open again. It's going to look different when there's not many people riding the train versus now it's a normal amount of people riding the train. You know what I mean? So are they up 300% from 2019 or are they up 300% from, say, 2021? I don't know. but that it looks unlikely that the CTA will install public restrooms due to security concerns. I can understand it as it comes to people overdosing, but at the same time, man, you're going to have the CTA smelling like piss and shit even more than it already does. Rough. The Blue Line no longer goes to O'Hare after 11 p.m. due to concerns about homeless individuals. Shuttle buses are available, but riders have to show a boarding pass or airport ID to get on. So that's kind of interesting and ridiculous to me. It's been, for a long time, it's been a way for people to get to the city from O'Hare is to use the CTA. It's $2.50. You can get pretty much anywhere in the city from there. And it's absolutely a travesty that instead of security, instead of, you know, doing things to help the homeless population that ends up at the end of the train lines, they are instead just going to be closing the Blue Line at O'Hare. So anyone that gets to, let's say their plane lands at 11, you have to find your own way. You know what I mean? You can get that $80 Uber instead of, just riding the train. They're not going to have any bathrooms or anything like that. They're not going to have heated places to stand. So at the end of the day, the anti-homelessness in cities across the United States is appalling to me to a certain level. You know what I mean? I was sitting on a bus stop the other day on Ashland and Division, and the way that they have the benches are that they're angled down slightly. So you literally cannot sleep on it. You have to basically put your legs on the ground to even be able to stay on the bench. And it's crazy to me that we live in a world where everything is basically pushing you to have a job, to be an employed member of society. That way you don't starve and die and live on the streets. And this is just another thing that came through on the internet today from the Jefferson Park Chamber of Commerce that fully solidifies that we are not only against people being homeless, but we also are for forcing people to be homeless if they don't fit the way that we want them to live. So, yeah. You got anything on that, Justin?
Oh, come on, man. That's it. I mean, you covered all of it. Very sad, very depressing.
It sucks, man.
We hate it here.
Yeah.
There needs to be better solutions to these very complex problems, and solutions that likely Lori Lightfoot is not going to come up with. Yeah.
I've also been saying recently, me and the homies should run for mayor. Now's like the best time that we will ever have to actually win the mayorship of Chicago.
Bro, so you could be on some real AOC shit.
I was saying maybe I should just run for mayor. It's going to take so much money.
You get the enough.
I need investors.
Enough votes, and then we'll crowdfund like a little ad campaign. Yeah, you know, I'm not saying it's not possible.
And another thing I saw, so this is about New York, homeless man that was getting interviewed in New York, also from the internet this week. So I guess that's really my internet thing. It's just the problems that homelessness is facing. But the guy was talking about how the city of New York gets literally billions of dollars. And he said a specific number, so I'm not going to quote the number, but it was in the billions. And basically they give that to private companies to basically go and hand out like sandwich bags on the street to homeless people. You know what I mean? Small meals, which in and of itself doesn't sound like a bad thing. But these private companies are pocketing most of those billions of dollars. And there are buildings, like whole blocks worth of buildings in New York that sit vacant because people can't afford it, or because, you know, it's, you know, someone's fucking summer home or like whatever it be, you know what I mean? Or Airbnbs, things like that. It's like, how far could billions of dollars go if there are ballparking 200 to 300,000 homeless people in the city of New York? Billions of dollars, billions. That is enough to house each and every one of them. And at the same time as housing them, it's also enough to hire some fucking people to protect them. You know what I mean? And it's tough. Like they said with the CTA thing, they're not doing the restrooms anymore. I get it, man. People that go through hard times in their life do end up turning to drugs and stuff like that and overdosing, or turning to crime and shit like that. But if you give them places to live, if you give them enough to actually be able to fucking not worry about whether they're going to be able to eat this week, you know what I mean? If you give them a place to go to the bathroom so they're not just shitting in the goddamn subway, then maybe things wouldn't be so tough and wouldn't look so bad, you know? But they're using homeless people to line their own pockets, and it sucks. Yeah, that's the end of my high horse.
It's sad, go off, and
go off, Queen.
You on your soapbox and you preaching some very positive literature, and I appreciate you bringing that positivity to the podcast. Homelessness is an epidemic here in this country. Drugs and fentanyl and opiates are an epidemic that contribute to homelessness in a lot of instances in our country. Yeah. And I think the consensus that we can come to is that if our elected officials were more interested in helping and in creating solutions for the people that elected them to serve than they were concerned with lining their own pockets and lining the pockets of pharmaceutical industries and large conglomerates and corporations that are backing and ensuring their re-election, the world would be a lot better off. Care about the people that elected you and that got you there, and when you get the job, do the job. Don't worry about keeping the job, because if you do the job and you do the job well, then you're not going to be voted out of office. It's the same thing that I always say whenever people say, well, aren't you worried about your getting fired at work and stuff like this? I'm like, nah, bro, I put up good numbers at work. I know that I'm the only person at my office that knows how to do what I have to do, and I do it well. So as long as I'm doing what I'm supposed to do and I'm making money for myself and for the company, ain't nobody gonna fire me. So to our politicians, if you're doing what you're supposed to do and you're trying to make the lives of your constituents and the lives of the patrons of your community that elected you better, both tangibly and intangibly, then you should have nothing to worry about when it comes time to be reelected, unless you're, of course, maybe Eric Greitens or somebody crazy and scummy like that's tying women up in his basement and doing unsavory things. But then again, that comes back to doing unsavory things to your constituents. As long as you're taking care of them in consensual and, uplifting manners, you have nothing to worry about.
Took a slight left turn there. No, that's how I feel, man.
Missouri slander in there. Come on now.
Yeah. And it's interesting. Like, last thing I'll say is vote M. Watson J. Kraft for 2024.
Cannonball! We coming.
Let's go.
We coming for the mayor's office or maybe state senate. I don't know. We're not old enough for the presidency yet.
Not yet.
And we're not rich enough to run for presidency yet. But one day.
Not yet. Only needs a couple million, man. Couple really rich donors, and you can really run for president.
Exactly. But today, right here, right now, we got some new albums for you. Maybe a song or two that will be featured on the campaign trail in a couple of years. Who knows? You guys stay tuned and stay plugged into the podcast to know. But I will jumpstart us here with the my album review for the week. It is a new album from Toby Nwigwe. I believe that's how you say his last name. I looked it up. His full name is Tobikwiwu Dubi Nwigwe. I'm really trying my hardest, but regardless of the pronunciation of my man's name, the project is called Moments, and it's unreal. 11 song, 32 minute. Some people are calling it an EP, some people call it an album. I just call
11
it
songs, 32 minutes.
Project.
I feel like it's an album.
It's a dope project.
Say 40 is the cutoff. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's an LP.
Features from Coast Contra. Pharrell produced a track on there. CeeLo Green is on a track. 2 Chainz. He brought out Chamillionaire, Dame Dalla, many, many more, but heavily featured on the album is his wife Fat. I'm not calling his wife Fat. His wife's name is Fat.
I guess that's one way to get ahead of the criticism.
Exactly. Very talented MC. She's got a great voice. She knows how to sing. Super talented. She's all over the project. And it's just like, it's a top to bottom, no skip project. It's short. It's to the point. There's a lot packed into it. And I stumbled across this album literally just scrolling Facebook or Instagram one night. And it was like a sponsored ad was one of his music videos. The music videos for this project are also super dope. All have the same like kind of aesthetic, the same styling. They're wearing not necessarily the same clothing, but the same like style of clothing with the same color palette. So across the board, from music to visuals to everything, dope project. And the Toby, he seems like a cool dude. He's from Houston. He is a featured actor on the Netflix show Mohammed, I can't remember his last name, but the Houston comic, his show, he's on that. And he's super involved in the Houston area, and has some non-for-profits down there too. So dope project, dope artist, Moments by Toby Nwigwe. Go check it out.
Okay. Dope, yeah. You met my friend Chubby?
Yeah. So
he's the one that showed me Toby Nwigwe maybe like a year and a half ago on his last project or whatever. And very dope. Like we've always made fun of him just because that's like funny name, one, and then two, like Chubb was so into him that it just is like a super fan kind of thing. But yeah, the visuals have always been dope. The songs, the production have always been dope. It's cool to see him, kind of flourishing on his latest project. So that's sick. Mine is, and I'm not sure if it's Gene or Jean or whatever, John Dawson. But this album, Chaos Now by John Dawson, was actually sent to me by my old karate teacher, Mertel. Shout out Mertel. What a project. So you know Kenny Hoopla and shit like that, right? Mm-hmm. So this is very in that vein. Yeah, kind of hyper-produced, alternative, kind of like punk rap. You know what I mean? It's very, very alternative, like early 2000s alternative, but the way that the sounds are layered in, the way that it's, taking up the space in the either headphones or speakers, whatever you're listening to it on, is insane. Like, it's so inspirational as it comes to stereo width and stuff like that. And even like how hard hitting or how soft and meaningful the songs can be. I definitely recommend Chaos Now by John Dawson. I had heard of Bro before, but I can't say that I really knew anything before this album. But definitely worth a check out. The songs range so much in kind of their content. So it may not be a no-skip album for everybody, but there's definitely going to be something on there that you rock with. And it's definitely going to open your mind up as to what an alternative album in 2022 is. And don't worry, I got a song coming up later on the playlist. So Chaos Now by John Dawson. Okay.
I fuck with it. It is on the album. Okay. I'd heard the song Pirate Radio before.
Yeah. I
didn't know it was by him. But he had Earl Sweatshirts featured on the project, and he had an A$AP Rocky feature on his last album. So dope shit.
Yeah, definitely check that out. I listened to it in the gym yesterday, and it was bussing. Okay. There are some songs that are a little slower, but it's still worth it.
I'm looking it over right now. Cool album artwork too.
All that Blender 3D rendering stuff.
Yeah, man. Yeah. All right, dope. From albums to top threes, we had a very Migos heavy segment here earlier. So in honor of the Migos, we are doing top three Migos songs. And it is the Migos songs. And so I'm going to throw a caveat on there that to qualify, you have to have two of the Migos on the songs.
Oh, no.
So if you wanted to go, no? You want to go straight Migos?
I had a song that it's only one of them, but I don't know. I think you should open it up to one Migos enough.
One Migos? See, I was thinking
if
Migos.
You want to, I'm down to do two. But that throws out literally two of my songs.
Two of your songs? Come on, man.
That's fine. It's my favorite songs, and that's why I'm so excited about this new like Migos era that they're in right now, is because some of my favorite songs have always been where it's just, one of them or them collaborating with someone else. So let me give my honorable mentions right now then. Monday by Offset. One of One. What a great song. The entire Travis Scott and Quavo album. Wow. You know what I mean? And then Takeoff, I forget what the song's called, but I wasn't going to bring it up anyway. But Takeoff has this one like real vibey song, but yeah, whatever. Okay. Two or more. You got to go first.
Okay. I'm gonna go with Gucci Mane's song "I Get the Bag" featuring Migos. Banger.
You get the bag and flip it and tumble it. Yeah.
You get the bag, flip it and run it.
I'm gonna go with Bad and Bougie, man. Honestly, like if that song comes on these days, because it was overplayed at first, but that song came on at the bar, I think it was last weekend, and I was like, nah, this is fire. I'm finna start throwing this in sets again soon. So let's go.
I'm trying to pick a culture song.
Look at you, man. Looking through the discography, I don't even need to look. I know
the discography. I'm trying to choose between like 5 of them because the Culture album is like Culture 2 and Culture 3 is
Culture. The Culture.
All right, I'm gonna go. You can't go wrong with T-shirt. T-shirt.
Yeah, mama told me, hey, not to sell it work. You're on Culture right now. You're looking at it.
Mm-hmm.
What's the very first song on there? My computer's freezing.
Culture featuring DJ Khaled.
It's called Culture? Yeah, that's what I thought. No, that song is fucking fire, honestly. And that was one of the things when Migos was really first coming out and Culture came out, and I heard that, and it was like featuring DJ Khaled, whatever. It was literally just him doing some like ad-libs on it. But no, that song is dumb fire. Culture by the Migos. What you got?
All right, I'm sticking with Culture. I'm going Get Right With You.
Get right with you.
Let me get right with you.
Yeah, no, that's just fire. I had to go back to No Label 2 on this one. And I'm not going to go Versace. I think Versace is another one, though, that I would give a good...
Oh, please do what I think you're doing. A song that I wish I just took.
There are a few on here. Maybe you could do it. I'm going to go with Fight Night on this one.
That's the song
I'm going to knock the pussy out like Fight Night. Hit her with a left. And honestly, Handsome and Wealthy is another good song, but it's not as good as Fight Night. I'm not gonna lie. I did hear that one. It's
a classic.
Summer Smash. Migos, or I guess it was just Takeoff and Quavo, were at Lyrical Lemonade Summer Smash this summer, and they performed Fight Night, and the crowd was going nuts. I feel like a lot of people had forgotten about Fight Night.
That's a great song. That was one where you brought it up. You're like, I knew exactly where you were going, and I knew where I fumbled. So, props.
You know the song Handsome and Wealthy too, right?
Mm-hmm. I'm surprised that neither of us took Versace.
Facts.
Versace.
I mean, it's an honorable mention. You know the song Handsome and Wealthy, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. That's another like top Migos song for me. I don't even know where that came from for them, but go crazy. Go crazy.